Hi, everyone. I'd like to do a shout out to our sponsor, Bako Diagnostics. Early detection is the single most important factor in improving patient outcomes. The Bako Diagnostics team recognizes how impactful a podiatric physician can be and remains committed to supporting you in your role as the first line of defense in diagnosing conditions of the lower extremity. Thanks to the unwavering support of their clients, Bako Diagnostics has been able to give back to the podiatric community for 16 years by providing podiatric educational resources and advocating for the position. Bako Diagnostics, helping podiatric physicians keep America on its feet. If you have not yet had the opportunity to utilize Bako Diagnostics services, get started today by sending an email to corporatelations@bakoddiagnostics.com. The first 50 podiatry offices who request a starter kit will receive a Dean's Chat mug. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Dean's Chat, where we discuss all things podiatric medicine. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Jensen. I'm the Dean at the Arizona College of Podiatric Medicine and the host for the Dean's Chat podcast. Once again, I'm joined by my co-host, Dr. Johanna Richey. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. How are you doing?
Oh, man, it's absolutely gorgeous outside. This is rare for July in Phoenix, and it's 93 degrees. It's humid, though, and my body doesn't know what to do with humidity. So, you take it and you run with it. So
I always keep the air conditioner on. I even threw a sweater on for the podcast today. So it's all good.
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
I'll have the natural breeze of my fan in my ceiling fan, because the humidity is the part that's a little rough. So
I hear you. All right. Well, Joe, we have a phenomenal guest today. Joining us from Chicago, Illinois, Dr. Katerina Grigoropoulos. Welcome to Dean's Chat.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here. I watch your podcast on Instagram, listen to it. Amazing show. So I'm so honored to be on the show today. Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome. And thank you for making time to be with us. Thank you.
Of course.
We're fairly informal, as you know, on Dean's Chat. And if it's all right with you, let's go first names, Kat, Joe, and Jeff.
Absolutely. Totally fine with me.
All right. Well, let me give you a little more formal introduction. Dr. Grigoropoulos is a board-certified podiatric physician specializing in diabetic limb salvage and wound care at the Weil Foot and Ankle Institute in Illinois. She completed her fellowship in diabetic limb salvage at UT Southwestern Medical Center and her residency at Loyola University Medical Center and Hines VA Hospital. Dr. Grigoropoulos currently serves as a board member and executive secretary for the American Board of Podiatric Medicine. She also contributes on the social media, public outreach, and newsletter committees. She's the founder of Soul Fit, a nonprofit initiative dedicated to providing new shoes to underserved children. We'll definitely be talking about that more. And outside of medicine, Dr. Grigoropoulos blends creativity with service as the founder of Medy Things, a medical-themed Etsy shop. And I found this to be very interesting. You are a recent graduate of Chicago's Second City Improv comedy program. And so I don't think we have a shortage of things to talk about today, Jeff.
No, and I love all of those things that you just listed, Jeff. Katerina, I cannot even wait to chat with you. So.
Yes, I'm so excited. Let's dive in.
All right. You know what? We'll get to your podiatric history in a little bit, but I have to tell you, Kat, every time I hear and your name comes up, everybody talks about you being a comedian. And the fact that you just graduated from the improv comedy program, our audience wants to hear all about that.
Oh my gosh. So comedy has always been something that I've been interested in ever since I was younger. And, growing up in a Greek family, my family was very strict. You had to go to school. You had to come home from school, do your homework. I always wanted to be a performer. I always wanted to do something in the arts. And when I was younger, my mom and my dad were like, you have to go into a field where you have very much structure and you can be independent. And even though I loved the arts, I also loved medicine as well. So even though I wasn't allowed to do school plays and do all those types of things, I kind of put that kind of passion in the back pocket, really focused on medicine. And because I am a multi-passionate, I love a lot of things and I love them deeply when I love them. So kind of had that in my back pocket, went through medical school at Scholl. In residency, I just really needed to tap out of medicine for a little bit and find a creative outlet. I really just had to. So second year of residency, I wanted to expand my network outside of medicine. I wanted to kind of release that creative outlet. And at the time I was living in Lakeview, only 15 minutes away from Second City. And I was like, you know what? Now's the time. As a second year resident, our schedule was a little bit more doable to kind of have that creative outlet. So every Sunday from 12 to 3, I would do my class at Second City. And there were 5 levels. It was essentially like a year program. And it was the best decision I ever did. My improv career, essentially, I did the program, left for Dallas, came back, redid the program, met new people. It was a really nice way to kind of just get my feet wet a little bit because I was rusty after a whole year and a half of not doing improv. And I went through the program. Then there's another tier of program at Second City called the conservatory program, where you have to audition. And then there's another round of auditions to stay into the program, which is called grad review. And the whole process from beginning to end was around like a 2-year process after I started once I got back from Chicago. And I've met lifelong friends through Second City. Improv has definitely made my speaking better, my interactions with patients better. I've just found like a lightheartedness into my interactions in my career through improv. And anybody that struggles with public speaking or is nervous around strangers, highly recommend that. Even if it's just for fun, definitely something that I recommend people to try.
I've got a little bit of, I'm naive on this subject because I thought funny people that did improv were just extra gifted and they were out there doing their thing. I didn't realize there were courses in it.
Oh yeah. So there's like a whole philosophy of improv. And one of the backbones of improv is you always want to support your partner. You never want to, if someone comes up with an idea, you just have to go with it. And just having a yes and mentality, has really helped with conversations of just interacting with patients. Even if you don't agree with somebody, there's an art to kind of navigating a conversation with agreeing, but not agreeing at the same time. And you kind of pick up on that art through improv. And yeah, there's different tiers, there's different levels. And it's not just you show up on stage and you do the art. There's definitely like coursework behind it. And it's just an incredible outlet. And I absolutely, was kind of putting it on the back burner for so long. And then one day I just was like, you know what? Now's the time. And I've never looked back. And it's just been such a blessing to kind of make that decision and just go with it. Because if I didn't, God knows how long it would have taken me to actually register for those classes.
Joe, your thoughts? That's incredible.
Yeah. Oh man, I love this so much. And I would love to go back to something that you just said, Kat, where you had talked about how it really helps you with communication. My first introduction to Second City was visiting faculty that came into an AO women's session. Mm-hmm. And it was all about communication. And you really do appreciate that yes and how you can like navigate that. So I'm curious, with your experience in the courses, what are some of the things that they teach in terms of how to start getting used to that, and how do you incorporate that?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we always start off with our first level courses is body language, eye contact. Walking into a room, meeting a stranger, the first thing that they see is like your physical self if you make eye contact with them. And pretty much patients within the first 10 to 30 seconds kind of already judge you and kind of already make a decision. Do I like this person? Do I not? Do I feel safe with this person? Do I not? Can I open up to this person? Can I not? And through Second City, it's just in making yourself more inviting and warm and using body language and making sure that you create that eye contact. Because with improv, it's kind of physical connection first, making that eye contact and then speaking. So that's a huge part of communication that I feel like, especially now with the technology aspect of medicine, we have to document and this and that. I don't do that in the room. Like, I never take any sort of documentation. I make the time, the patient's time. And just, even if you don't agree, the yes and technique has definitely come in handy, because even if I don't agree with something, I'll say, yes, part of that is true, but let me tell you a little bit more about my perspective. I never say, no, that's not right, or nah. I always say, yes, part of that is true. It's empowering the patient to feel like, okay, even though if they said something wrong, some of it is right. So yes, anding them can definitely be a way to empower patients, but also kind of gently correct them into the right direction as well. And those two in combination, I use every day in my career.
Yeah, I love that. And that idea of kind of validating their discussion with you, even if in your opinion, you don't agree with it. As soon as you start to say, no, that's wrong, it just makes people feel dismissed.
Exactly.
And you had said in the beginning, helping people feel comfortable. And, we've had a couple other doctors on that have like a psych background, and you have a little bit of a psych background. So having that opportunity to really engage with patients in a way that is meaningful on that human level, that connection level, which is so important for the relationship, that at that point, you've lost them. It doesn't even matter what you have to say. It doesn't matter how excellent you are. You lost them.
Absolutely.
So learning how to invest in those little, tactics to improve communication. And never did I appreciate what I do with my body language, which I'm a very expressive person, but never did I appreciate until we had this thing. And it's the things that we all do, and having that kind of coaching in a way that's not career-wise, like it's not medical, was so valuable. So again, when I saw that on your your CV, I was like, oh, I cannot wait to talk to you about this, because I want to do more. I want to play with it more. So
it's so fun. And when it comes to patients too, when they're meeting a doctor for the first time, there's a lot of judgment around doctors. Oh, we're serious and we're just, in and out of the room. Like, that's so not my technique. That's so not my style. Like, I feel like as soon as you make patients feel safe to talk about their health and safe to just ask questions, then you get more out of the visit. People are more direct. People are more comfortable asking questions, which, with part of being a good doctor is asking the right questions, but also making the patient comfortable so they feel comfortable to answer the questions in a way that you can help them. So there's a lot of psychology behind improv. There's a lot of psychology behind just like patient interactions, and improv has just helped just streamline that for me in a way that's just fun, interactive, and very efficient to make people feel comfortable so I can treat them better.
I love that.
Back to the stage a little bit, Kat. Do you have like a stage persona?
No, I just go by Kat. Yeah. So our team name at Second City is We Are a Delight, because we are a delight. Like, our team, we are like the most delightful people. We're fun. And that's our team name. So when we play with other teams, our stage team name is We Are a Delight. But we all go by our names. I don't have like a certain persona. I'm very much a avid be your authentic self with everything that you do. So there's no personas. It's just us bringing our authentic, goofy selves on stage.
Maybe I should have asked, is there a certain theme you get on where you find that you've got a little more talent or a little more funniness? I don't even know if that's a word.
Yeah. I guess characters, with improv, it's not just like having like a normal dialogue as yourself. You play with different characters. So my team always says, oh, bust out Granny Judy. So I do like an old like Granny Judy. So
Oh yeah, we want more Granny Judy. Give us a little Granny
Judy. She's just like an old grumpy lady, and she like talks like this, probably smokes for 20 years, but it's just fun just embodying different characters. And you don't realize how much of our childhood that kind of gets suppressed over the years, especially in medicine. And like, adults are just big kids that pay taxes and have real responsibilities. Like, that's basically my realization of the world. And it's just, the world is such a heavy place that you need a creative outlet. You need people that bring joy, even if it's just making themselves feel goofy just to kind of light someone up. That's just, my spark and what gives me joy to provide for other people. So yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
Joe, I mean, I just love it. I mean, I can tell you're seasoned in, lecture discussions, and you can go any direction you want. And that's fabulous. I'm totally blown away that there's a whole academic rigor to it. I did not realize that.
A whole philosophy behind it too, which I also did not realize. It's funny, like, you start to peel back the layers of the onion on anything in the world, and you start to realize how much intentionality actually goes into the craft itself. So yeah, I can mirror that, Jeff, because I was equally impressed and I don't want to say shocked, but for lack of a better word, shocked that there was actually a lot that really does go into something that seems improvised quite literally by name, right? So
Kat, you're welcome to break into any characters you want during the course of our discussion today.
I think we'll need to have some kind of fun recurring thing. Actually, it reminds me too, this is hilarious, but when you said that about the childlike stuff, right? So I have a 7-year-old and a 9-year-old, and it is really funny. I remember at one point in my life, I was much more creative person. I was very much in the arts. And I remember thinking about adults as like these boring, like I was so afraid of becoming that. And having children, you recognize how much I am a boring adult now. Like I have a 401k and a real job and like all the stuff. And like, I have to like break out of that mold with them. And so I can very much appreciate too, that opportunity in something like a creative outlet, and improv being a wonderful way to do that. So
yes, absolutely. And one of my passions is, so this is not on my CV, but like one of my passions is kind of inspiring people to pursue things outside of medicine. Like hobbies are so important, and we lose so much of ourselves because at least from my experience, like going through school, going through residency, going through fellowship, it just kind of, at least for me, it like wore on my identity. Like,
yeah,
I walked out of fellowship into a job, and, you know, we've been conditioned for so long to just be like milestone after milestone, grade after grade, test after test, like the finish line. We're always moving the goalpost until we're finished and we're done with training and now we're practicing. And I was like excited to get a job, but I felt like a void. Like I was just like, okay, what's next? Like what? I'm just going to practice for the rest of my life. Like, where are the milestones? Like, if I'm not a podiatrist, what am I? Like, I had such an identity crisis after starting practice, like for 2.5 years now. I've been in practice now for 4 years, but the first 2.5 years were rough because I was like, if I'm not a podiatrist, then what am I? And there was a lot of therapy, self-discovery, you know, who am I to my core that I can be my authentic self and inspire other people to be their authentic self. Because a lot of times I feel like in medicine, we are conditioned to be quote unquote professional. And I'm actually going to speak about this at Shoal, the orientation in August. I do feel like there's like this, I don't even know if this is a term, but I feel like for doctors, I'm coining this now if it's not a term, but if it is, I swear I didn't look this up. But I feel like there's this like professional like oppression that doctors put on themselves. Like, oh, I can't be myself. I can't fully be myself because I have to be professional. And of course, we have to use professional language. We have to be professional to a degree, but we can't suppress who we are because patients, yes, they want to find a doctor, but at the end of the day, it's human to human interaction. And for me, like it took 2.5 years of really hard internal work to just be like, okay, who am I? What do I want to do? What do I want to be known for? And I'm always the type of person that wants to kind of like reinvent myself and really find out to my core who I am, to be able to kind of share that with the world, but also inspire others. And I would love for everyone listening to just think about that. Like, who am I without the DPM degree outside of my name? Like, what do I like? What do I enjoy outside of medicine? Because if you focus on those things too, instead of just making your career the forefront of your existence, you definitely have a lower risk of burning out over time. You feel like you have options to pivot, even if it's micro pivoting outside of your profession. Figure out what you like, and over time, that's certainly going to help with your identity as well.
And I love that, because certainly one of the things that absolutely does happen with burnout is this loss of joy. And you said it beautifully, Kat, in the beginning. There is plenty of things in the world that suck the joy and the fun out of it. Why not find ways to add them back into our life? And I can mirror this so much, because the only time that I really started to recognize, I'll say recognize, because that's the better way to say this, how important and how much I had lost my authentic self was when I hit a massive burnout. And to the point, as you're just saying, well, I'm like, I'm going to quit. I'm that, like, I was that burnt out, right? Where you're like, I need to figure out what the next thing is because I cannot do this anymore. And what's problematic about that is you build your whole life around this. I loved podiatry. I loved what I was doing. But in that moment and in that particular space, that was not it. And it's because I had lost all of the things that brought me joy. And I just kept kicking that goalpost, all of the things they talk about, right? Here's, milestone. And then you look back and you're like, well, I haven't done anything. Which, saying it out loud, you hear how ridiculous it is, right?
Totally.
But you're absolutely right. Like, we are all trained, highly efficient, success addicted people, right? Like, that is how we get to where we are. And so I love when you said that, like, just find things to, like, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. And I remember, I think it was Mark Hoffbauer, Jeff, who had said, I think it was Mark, like, connect with the things you did when you were a child. Mm-hmm. Like, what's something that you did when you were younger that you loved doing that you don't do anymore? Just do that again. Like, just try it. See if you still love it. And if not, then you'll find other things that bring you joy and love. So I don't know, Jeff, if you were wanting to pivot off this yet, but I have a nice segue if you're ready for a
Let's
transition.
do a segue. Let's do it. I'm
Okay.
ready to pivot. One of us has to pivot, so you go for it.
Well, it's a nice segue into the Medy Things.
I love
which
it.
I think, again, another one that I was just like, Kat, I'm like, I feel like you and I were best friends at some other life somewhere. Like, I want to come hang out with you. So we need to figure out when we get to hang out in person.
Absolutely.
So tell us about Medy Things. How did that start?
Oh my God, Medy Things. Okay. So again, I don't know what was going on second year of residency. I think I just had this epiphany where I'm just like, I need to be more than just what I'm feeling right now. So I started at that time of my residency. I was just like, you know what? I love enamel pins. And where this all started was when I was a student, I designed like a little foot pin as a fundraiser for Solfit. And we were selling them to raise money so we can contribute to the Solfit charity event, so we can buy new shoes for kids in need. And I literally had so much fun designing this pin and like selling it and watching people wear it. It actually brought me like a lot of joy. And I'm like, oh, one day it would be really cool to just have like a little shop and make like these pins. And second year of residency, I was like, okay, I'm going to put the one days, like, I'm going to get rid of the one days. One day I'm going to do this. One day I'm going to do that. I'm just going to do it. So I started improv. And then on the side, I was such a night owl in residency. Like, I don't even know how I did it. I would come home like 8, 9 o'clock, stay up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, designing pins, doing all these things. Now I would be dead if I did that. But I don't know how I had a second wind after a long day, but I would design these pins. And then I was like, you know what? It'd be so cool to put them on Etsy. So I started off with a couple listings here and there. The pins became stickers and I kind of expanded the collection. And it's just like a side little project that I enjoy doing. And it was so cool the other day because, I get orders from all over the United States, sometimes international too. I've gotten orders from Australia, Italy, like different parts of Europe, New Zealand. So it's so cool to see that these designs are getting bought by people outside of this country as well. And my brother, who is a resident right now at UPMC at a PM&R program, he is on a wound care rotation. And one of the wound care nurses, coincidentally, was wearing my pin. And he sent me a picture of it. And I was like, this is so cool. Like, I live for that stuff. That it's just so fun to watch people enjoy like my creative outlet to that caliber too. So I have some really exciting works in the next year with Medy Things. It's probably something that's going to take, I have ideas about how I would like to expand it. So it's probably going to take a couple of years to actually like put everything into production. But yeah, I have like a pretty big vision for it long term, but it's just another way where I'm like, you know what? I have creativity. I need another outlet for it. And I'm just going to go with it and see where it goes. And I feel like it's a perfect example of how, if you want to do something, just do it. The worst case scenario with the Etsy shop is I made the designs, a couple people bought it. Okay, great. It didn't go anywhere, but you never know where something's going to go. So if it's fun, just go with it.
I think you hit your flow state.
Yes. Oh,
where all of a sudden you found something you love so much, you lose yourself in time. You're not tired. Next thing you know, it's 4 hours later.
Totally. Flow. And that's the thing, like So the thing that I've learned that puts me in the flow state is like building things, like building an Etsy shop, building creativity, like making new things. I like newness. And recently, like I've because of the Medy Things, because of the brand building, you know, I'm pretty active on social media. Like I've learned to slowly love business and to slowly like scale things a little bit, like to a micro level, not big corporations. I have no like MBA or background for that, but I do have ideas for business. And I feel like one hobby kind of leads into the other and everything builds on itself. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I don't know what my life is going to look like in the next 10, 15 years, but I do have a lot of aspirations to do things outside of medicine as well. So all of those aspirations wouldn't be there if I didn't start with these little tiny projects, you know. And then some people, you know, just like, oh, that's your side hustle, is like selling pins. Like, who cares what people say? One thing that I've learned is I don't care if people judge me on social media. Oh, she's selling pins. Oh, she needs a side hustle. All of that is background noise. They don't know who I am. They don't know what my goals are for everything. That's all just background noise. And people will never judge you if they were doing the same thing for themselves. You know, sometimes we judge people because we're like, oh, they're doing that. That's cool. And they kind of give you attitude about it. But deep down, they want to do something similar. They want to follow their aspirations. They want to take risks to do things. So judgment is just a reflection on themselves. So I never take that personally.
Well, when you start thinking about artistic designs and specific talents, it's not just pins, right? I mean, this is your heart and soul going into design and fun stuff. And
yeah,
I commend you on it. That's phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
Can I pivot to the next one? No, go ahead, Joy.
Oh, hang on. Okay. So, because I think that was an important kind of point. There are so many things that we all have our own interests and areas. And it's so easy when you're starting something new, you get this criticism and it's so easy to feel like you want to shrink. And so many people want to try to make others feel small because it makes them feel better. That's not a reason not to do it. And so having that moment of being able to recognize this is a reflection of you, not me. And I love your, like, I am being authentically me. And I'm not going to shrink when I'm authentically me. So I'm going to take your feedback. Savannah Santiago said this, like, thank you for reading my post, right? Like, somebody wrote like this outrageous like statement, but they clearly took the time to read it. So thank you so much for reading.
Yeah.
I appreciate the feedback, right? We don't have to agree with their judgment, but it's also, I totally forgot what I was going somewhere with this.
And I will add to that.
It'll come back to me.
That you will never be judged by someone doing more than you. It's always someone doing less, because either they're intimidated by like just the courage it takes to take the first step. So you will never be looked down upon someone if like, you know, that they're not more successful than you. But for anybody that's been in your shoes, that's taken that step, you're never going to be judged by those types of people because they've been there. They know the struggles. They know the internal struggles. You're always going to be judged by people doing less. And that's the truth. Yes. And that was exactly it. It's not, you know, I don't need to explain my journey to you because it's not for you. And how could you possibly understand what my interests are, what my goals are, because they're not yours. And that's great. But if you can't understand that, then that's not a me problem. That's a you problem. Absolutely. So you can go away with your you problem. And I'm going to come back over here with the people that do understand the journey and let them support me. And Brene Brown talks about that too, right? Mm-hmm. I will take feedback and criticism from people that are in my arena. The ones that aren't in the arena with me, they don't get a voice. They're not part of this. So anyway, sorry, Jeff. I felt like that was a really great little nugget that she had that I wanted to.
Oh, it was. I'll pile on a little bit. One of my favorite lines is ideas are fragile, right? Because it's a cool idea, but you're afraid what people are going to think. And the best way to kill a great idea is to put a task force together so they can tell you how that idea isn't needed.
Totally. And that's, you know, there's so many like motivational influencers that are like, I constantly hear like work in silence in the beginning, because when you have inspiration and you tell even one person and they kind of dim your light a little bit, it only takes one comment, one person to just derail everything. So just work in silence, use that inspiration, inspire yourself to continue to go. You don't have to use any sort of external sources or external forces or sources to keep you going. Like, work in silence in the beginning, do what you need to do. And you're going to thank yourself for being that courageous person to take the first step and just continue with it.
I love it. The other thing I wanted to share is, you had mentioned earlier inspiration and bringing joy, and SoulFit. Let's talk about SoulFit. You're bringing joy to underserved children by bringing them shoes. It's unbelievable.
Yes. So SoulFit was a project that I had started in my second year of podiatry school. I was in clinic one day, long story short, there was a little boy that came in with toe pain when I was shadowing in clinic at the time. And his toe pain was related to having shoes that were 2 sizes too small. And we explained to his mom that, his shoe size is 2 sizes too small. He needs new shoes. And she started crying that she couldn't afford new shoes for kids. So then I was like, it would be so cool if we can kind of like stock our clinic with just some sizes of boys and girls shoes, just in case this is something that happens again in the future. And, that moment sparked that idea. Within a couple weeks after that, we got an email saying, hey, anybody at Rosalind Franklin University can apply for this fellowship project, where essentially you pitch your idea, you get a certain amount of money for a grant. And if you get it, you can execute your project, and it can be something that, you can even continue on year after year at school. And I was like, it'd be so cool to like raise money, buy new shoes for kids in need in the community. And upon my search on Google, because I was like, I wonder if there's like a community project already kind of in existence that I can partner up with, that we can kind of collaborate. Well, long and behold, the exact same mission that I had to kind of provide new shoes to kids in need, there is a national organization called Shoes That Fit that already does that to a very macro caliber. I was like, oh my gosh, how do they do it? Like, how can we get involved? So I looked into it, and essentially Shoes That Fit is a national organization that runs by different chapters, and any corporation, any program, any individual person, anybody can start a chapter of their own. So then I reached out to them and I said, my vision, and this is me being a second year student at Scholl, right? I was like, my vision for this project is for us to partner up with you long-term and make all the podiatry umbrella like chapters under this big umbrella of Shoes That Fit, to make all the podiatry chapters named SoulFit, so we can keep track of which ones are podiatry related. So it'd be like SoulFit Scholl, SoulFit, your hospital, your clinic, your residency program, whatever it may be. And I was like, I would love one day, and this is me thinking of a long-term project, like 10, 15, 20-year goal, is to make Shoes That Fit and SoulFit, the collaboration between the two, the largest philanthropic project under the podiatry umbrella. And to this day, like, I still say it because I still see a vision for that. And there's such a need for that. Because with giving shoes, there's also a component of education as well that we provide for kids as well. And just us delivering the shoes to the kids is like the coolest part, that we're not only raising money and then a company just drops off the shoes. You're actively participating in having a distribution event, which there's so much joy. Some of the kids cry because they're getting new shoes. Some of the kids don't even want to wear the shoes because they don't want to like take them out of the box, because that's the only new thing that I always cry when I talk about this. Because that's like the only new thing that they've ever gotten before. And from hand-me-downs to hand-me-downs, it's just such an amazing project that I'm like so passionate about. And I always cry when I talk about SoulFit, because I always think about this one card that one of the kids wrote us that I have in my like SoulFit box, that I have like all the cards that kids make. And one of the kids wrote, "Thank you for helping us, because we are poor people in the world." And every time I read that card, I always kind of like remember like what my why was to starting this project. And I feel so dumb crying on this. I don't think you've ever have you ever had someone cry on your podcast?
Yes, you're not the first.
Okay,
and you won't
great.
Be the last.
Okay, amazing. So I don't feel like a loser.
No, it's human. It's beautiful.
But it's just like, I just have like such a passion for this. And like, I wish I could do everything all at once, but I can't. I'm only one person. So, just little growth every year with SoulFit is all I ask. And Baco decided to start a chapter of their own this year. And they're actually going to have a distribution event this year at a community school that is in need, that has children in need. And I am just so grateful and thankful for the support that Baco provides. And I've always had like Shauna and Elizabeth that always cheering me on ever since like my student like residency years. So to watch kind of like their support from the sidelines all these years and then eventually wanting to start a chapter of their own is just, I really do feel like Baco is going to be the first domino that kind of like sets everything kind of in motion over time for bigger organizations in podiatry, for residency programs, clinics, whatever it may be, to start a SoulFit chapter of their own. So that's my hopes for that. And I really hope it does become something, because another vision that I have for this is like, if let's say APMA or like big podiatry organizations get involved, like I would love to host like an annual like SoulFit gala where we raise money at a bigger kind of caliber, have auctions, like silent auctions. Like I have a huge vision for it. It's definitely like in my mind now, but I really do feel like one day it definitely has a lot of potential to kind of manifest it into reality. Oh, I love that. I'm sorry, guys.
I will support that idea of a gala any day that you want to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's fabulous.
Yeah. Sorry. I kind of just like emotionally dumped on you guys just now.
That's all right. I felt a little emotional too. I get you.
Okay.
Kat, this might be the perfect time to do a shout out to our sponsor, Baco Diagnostics, because we work with Shauna and we work with Elizabeth all the time, and Baco does so much for our profession. There's no doubt, whether you're a student, you're a resident, you're a young practitioner, or a seasoned practitioner, Baco helps you understand what you're treating and it allows you to treat it appropriately. So I was gonna do my normal ad, but I decided not to. We're just gonna throw shout out to Baco.
Yes. Thank you, Baco, for starting a SoulFit chapter. I'm so excited to see your distribution event.
I love it. Absolutely. So Joe, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So Kat, we could talk all day long, and we haven't even touched her career. We haven't touched podiatry.
Even gotten to your podiatry.
We haven't touched residency. We haven't touched the fellowship. We haven't touched ABPM. I'm just suggesting that perhaps we do a second part two with you, Kat, where we can talk about the podiatry stuff, but I don't think I wouldn't mind doing a couple rapid fires, Joe, and yeah, you can start or I can start.
Oh, I'll start.
Okay,
because I think this would be a really interesting one too. All right, Kat, you get to invite anybody to dinner from any period of time in history, or famous, not famous, personal, whomever you want. Who would you pick? You can pick two if you can't just pick one.
Oh God, I'm so bad at these. What would I pick? Okay, number one, I'm like the worst person in history. Like I don't know anything about history. I don't know I think I blacked out in elementary school when I learned all this, and high school. Who would I want to have? Okay, this is like the first person that popped in my head, and I don't even know her name, which is super embarrassing. But lately I've been hearing a lot of her story and just the way that she kind of scaled the company. And I'm like blanking out on her name, but the CEO of Spanx.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's on Shark Tank.
Yes. I don't remember her name, but
Starts with a K.
Oh my God, it's so embarrassing. I don't know her name, even though I'm like inviting her to dinner.
That's okay.
But yeah, it's just like her story is like super interesting. The way that she had this like vision for this product and the way that she scaled it as a woman, like taking the steps, she just is just like a visionary. And I would love to have dinner with her because it's just, I feel like I see a lot of myself in like the visions that she has. So it would just be really cool to kind of like bounce ideas back and forth and just kind of have that, woman empowerment of like in business, just to kind of have that discussion.
Sarah Blakely. I had to
yes.
There you go.
Her. Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome.
And so what is the greatest feeling when you're doing improv?
The greatest feeling is knowing that you're going to say something funny and your partner already anticipates that you're going to say something kind of either raunchy or like edgy, and they're already laughing right before you say it. And then when you say it, they just can't keep a straight face. So, and then the audience kind of picks up on like those cues, and everyone in the room is just awkward and laughing. Like that's the best. It's just knowing that you're just going to stir the pot a little bit and everyone anticipates it. It's just so much fun to play with that.
It's fabulous.
All right. Our favorite beverage could be wine, non-alcoholic, cocktail, mocktail. What are you drinking when you go out?
Okay. If we're doing alcohol, Saint Germain, 100%, like a Saint Germain, like mixed with champagne for sure. At home, I make a drink that I actually did post on social media. It's called I invented this. It's called a Cloud 9. And it's basically like your choice of a sparkling water of any sort of flavor mixed with like a Pellegrino. And then on top of it, you put heavy whipping cream, and the carbonation with the whipping cream forms like a little cloud. Yeah. So I call that a Cloud 9. So that's pretty much my go-to drink at home.
I like that. My kids will like the whipped cream component. So thank you. Yeah. It's like an Italian soda, but a little bit lighter.
Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. Cloud 9. All right.
Yeah.
I'll post it on social for you when we do it. Probably this weekend. So.
Yes, totally.
I've got one about your pins and your creative take on making things. Which pin was very creative and really touched your soul? You know, when you were designing it, like, oh, this is the best I've done.
Yeah. So my favorite is actually, so this is actually really cool. My husband, when we were still dating, even before we were engaged, when he dropped me off, so we went on our first date, and then he dropped me off home, and then he gave me a little dinosaur sticker. And that dinosaur sticker was a Tyrannosaurus Rex. And I was like, oh my God, I love this. Like the fact that he gave me a sticker is just so odd, but so endearing at the same time. And I really liked him after our first date. So I was like, I'm inspired. And he's a doctor as well. So I'm like, I'm inspired to just make a pin. So I named the pin Scott T-Rex. And the pin is actually a Tyrannosaurus Rex wearing scrubs, and it's holding like a little medical case, and it has a stethoscope. And then I was like, well, Scott Rex needs like a companion. So then I made this other design called Broke Neck Betty. And then he actually, like after 2 or 3 months of dating, he actually made me like little replicas of the pins out of paper mache. And like he literally sewed these little scrubs on. So from all the pins, I like Scott T-Rex and Broke Neck Betty. Those have a special place in my heart for sure.
Oh my gosh, that's fabulous. Thank you.
Those are fabulous.
Thank you.
Jo, any last words before we close out? No, I had noticed those dinosaurs actually in the back because my best friend is like dinosaur. Everything is dinosaur. We make jokes back and forth. In fact, I took a picture today. I was in the operating room and they had dinosaur scrubs.
I love it.
Lead. So of course I had to grab it, and so now I'll post that on social media so people can see my dino lead. But it was the cutest thing, and so instantly I was gonna ask you about it later. But now the whole world gets to know about Broke Neck Betty and Scott T-Rex.
Yeah,
exactly. We're gonna start a new thing completely in medicine.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Kat.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for. You know what? It was honestly refreshing to not talk about medicine and to talk about other things and to just kind of expand on things that make us who we are outside of our career. So It was such a pleasure to be on the show, and thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's our pleasure, Kat. Thank you. So I look forward to Kat Part 2. Unplugged.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Definitely.
Totally. Right. I'm here for it.
Sounds good. To all of our listeners out there, if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please give us a 5-star rating, or even better, leave a couple comments. And if you're watching on YouTube, please become a subscriber. Jo and I will continue to bring leaders in podiatry, whether they're students, residents, practitioners, improv specialists, and other leaders in our profession. So thanks again, Kat. Thanks, Jo. And we'll see you all next week. We're going to send you a Dean's Chat mug
Amazing.
Yeah, that'll keep the flow going.
Yeah. Oh, my late nights designing up until 2, 3 a.m. Yeah.
I love it.
I love it.
All right. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.